Fernando's responded to some adversity, how Kirk has kind of built things up and whatnot. What's been your kind of, I guess, bird's eye view of that quarterback room right now between the three guys that are really in the mix? I know Jacob Clark is there, no disrespect to him, but everybody obviously is more interested in the other three guys right now, right?
Yeah, I think it's as expected. I think Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins has played some solid football. That repertoire between him and Brock Bowers has really been on point. It's like no matter what, like Kirk Cousins look down the field, Brock Bowers wide open, and the two can connect on plays. As for Mendoza, I look at someone who's command of the offense and confidence of what he's doing is a lot better than what we've seen in the spring. For the most part, he's been on point in terms of his accuracy, and his decision making has been solid as well. The 2 days before today were a bit shaky. You
Yeah.
saw his accuracy was not on point as the first 3 days on practice. He was off target, has issues with has some issues getting guys aligned pre-snap. He also has issues like maintaining the football when it's snapped to him. But like as
In the
Kubiak
gun, which is
said,
crazy though, right?
gun, yeah, yeah, and
He's the
both of
guy
those
from like college working in the gun.
both of those issues came in. Both of those plays came when he was in shot, and they was in shotgun formation. But as Clint Kubiak said, not every game or practice is going to be perfect, especially
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Mendoza, who is this is his first ever training camp. He still has a long way to go. But overall, I think they both look solid. I think my biggest concern with Kirk Cousins is, he like I said, he does look well, but you can tell. And this is something this has been Kirk Cousins throughout his whole career. So this is not something that's new. Like, he's not the most mobile guy.
Yeah.
So that's gonna make the offensive line and how they perform ever so important, because you're not gonna expect, Kirk Cousins just to break loose for a few yards, and that's not who he is. That's not how he's
Yeah.
been since his own NFL career. But outside of that, I think both quarterbacks have played well.
We can't not, I mean, you bring up the mobility for Kirk, and we can't
Yeah.
not talk about the video that blew up.
Yeah, I was
hate
gonna
that it
bring that
did.
up.
I hate that blew up because I was just
Oh,
out there trying to get video of Kirk. But TJ, like
yeah.
you probably were combing through the comments as I were. Ryan, I don't know if you look at the comments. It's always a cesspool on Twitter with
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
But did you see him respond to that yesterday
He
when he
did.
was
He did.
Yeah,
You
he was
definitely
out there
saw
doing
it.
his thing.
That's the thing. Like after each and every time now, when they break from like their stretching period and the warm up period, like Kirk bolts to where the quarterbacks are practicing
Yeah.
over there to kick off practice. At least it's hilarious. I think that just shows like he's got a good sense of humor. I think a lot of people took that thing and ran with it. I cannot believe that got over 2 million views. It's ridiculous what blows up in this day and age on social media and everything.
It'd be
like
the most
that.
random thing that you post though.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the heck? Like I just
It's
like
wild, man. Like, did
dang.
everybody think that Kirk Cousins was like Lamar Jackson? Like, what the hell are we doing here? You know what I
Hey,
mean?
shit, that's
Like, this isn't a
Yeah.
guy that's going to be out there running around. So, yeah, to your point, Ryan, like, no matter where he's been, the offensive line has to be on point. One thing that has definitely stuck out to me, though, with Kirk Cousins is just the accuracy. You know what I mean? Like, this guy has
Yeah.
had it each and every time he goes out on the field. You're seeing him with some juice as well when he makes some plays. Like, he's kind of letting the defense have it in terms of the back and forth and whatnot. Like, I love hearing him be vocal. I think you need that out of a leader, especially with a young team, that's going through change and everything like that.
Yeah.
And look, I don't think it's crazy to say that Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback that's been out there thus far. Like, I know a lot of people, there will be some like shock and awe with that, but like TJ, I'd love your perspective, like from the fans and the folks that you talk to as well. Like, are they cool with that? Like with
Yeah.
like going out there and what they've seen from Kirk, like because it's a
Yeah.
very clear separation, at least from what Ryan and I have seen.
Yeah, I think for the most part, most of the fans, at least the ones I talk to a lot, are all on board with Kirk Cousins. The only thing with them is like, okay, everybody's expecting Fernando Mendoza to play, meaning that Kirk is going to struggle sometime during the season.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to hold up, but I think for the most part, like what we learned last year is as long as that offensive line holds up, I think Kirk can still, he can still get some balls here and there. Pause. But for the most part, I think he'd be able to do his job out there. But yeah, everybody's down for it, and I just hope that he does start. And well, I don't just hope, but like if he does start, I hope that he continues to keep that same energy that we've been seeing all training camp long.
Yeah, and it is like a weird dance that you kind of got to play because it's like, again, it's not a problem that Fernando looks the way that he is, right?
Yeah.
Right, Ryan? I mean, like, that's my thing is like he's making the normal progressions of a guy that's kind of going through it. I don't know about you, Ryan. Have you covered a number one overall pick quarterback before? I
This is
haven't, but
I've covered Lamar, I've covered Bo Nix. First time I've ever covered, a quarterback drafted number one overall. So this
yeah.
is, it's just to see kind of like this see this progress and see how this plays out. But like to your point, like I think it goes for me with this whole thing. You don't want to rush this situation, right?
Yeah.
As much as fans would like to see Fernando Mendoza on the field, as much as NFL fans and probably fans of college football fans want to see how Mendoza translates to the next level. You don't want to rush this process because the Raiders have had so many issues at the quarterback position for years. Like I think ever since Derek Carr left, like it's been hit and miss and who can like fill that void at the starting quarterback position. You thought you had it last year with Geno Smith. A lot, we saw how that played out, and many factors led to his struggles. And you don't want to get this wrong. This is the future face of the franchise, and you want to make sure he is ready, he is comfortable. So in order to so he can maintain that confidence whenever he's out there. And if it takes time, it takes time, man. But I think Mendoza, as Kubiak said himself, he's doing a good job, and he's right where he needs to be. This is not like I said, we went into this situation as expected. This was going to be the plan, and it's playing out that way. So I just can't wait to see how they split the reps during preseason games. Will Mendoza get time with the first team offensive line against the Cardinals? That's what I'm more excited about because that's where I'm interested to see how the preseason games will look.
I'd love your guys' thoughts on that because that was a conversation I was having today with a lot of people is how that ends up looking. Because like I'm with you, Ryan. Like take your time. I'd rather wait too long than throw them out there too early because you can't like put the toothpaste back in the tube. You know what I mean? But like. I am so curious. But the question that I've been asking whenever I have this conversation about the preseason and playing time, like I'm not worried about how it's actually going to be divvied up between the quarterbacks. I'm thinking like, hey, is the first team, quote unquote, offensive line going to be out there the entire time that Fernando's there? Or are you shuffling guys through with Fernando? Because if I'm the coaching staff, I want no part of throwing the number 2 offensive line out there with him. I want the ones out there. So does that mean you're keeping Colton Miller out there the entire time who's coming off of an injury? And Tyler Linderbaum, who you just paid all that money to? Like, how do you guys kind of go about that side of it, of what offensive line needs to be around him when he does play in the preseason?
I think my opinion here is like, if Kirk Cousins is your guy, I think you just give him a series.
Yeah.
Give him a series.
That's what Sam Darnold did last year. He had one series.
And then you give Mendoza maybe a series or 2, and then you get that offensive line out there and play the rest, and then you start making your alternates and see what second and third string guys can do. But at least give Mendoza to me. I think at least after you get Cousins out the way, at least keep that starting offensive line out there. Let Mendoza get some reps with them before moving on. But I think to me, I don't know if that's how it's going to play out. This is just our prediction right here. So we don't know what their plans are yet. Preseason. They're still more than a week away before that game, but just in my opinion, and I would like to see how Mendoza handles himself with that first team offensive line, at least just for a series, if anything.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That was a good point that you brought up. Like just going into preseason, because you want to see what you have for Fernando, at least with that first team unit, instead of just throwing him in there with the backups and then he's over there scrambling for his life. But yeah, for the most part, I think that's going to be the biggest indicator on whether or not Fernando looks ready or not. I think it's the preseason, because I know in training camp, have they been switching them back and forth with the ones, or it's just been all 2s for Fernando?
For Fernando, 2s and 3s, right, Ryan? Like he's gotten a couple 3 reps at some points, but it's been pretty much exclusively 2s as of late, if I remember right.
Yeah, it's been solely with the 2s. You will see it's Cousins, Mendoza, then AOC comes out there with the third string. But so it's that, like I said, we're not surprised by that.